The objective of Chapter 1 is to share with Nova Scotians the results of the March 31st, 2019 financial audit work. Every year, many government organizations are audited. My office is responsible for the audit of the province's consolidated financial statements, as well as a number of the financial audits of key organizations like the IWK and the Nova Scotia Health Authority. However, given the number of these organizations that are audited every year, many are done by outside audit firms. A financial audit can include suggestions for improvements on how the finances are managed and controlled. In this chapter, we summarize the financial audit work done on the 2019 financial statements and draw attention to areas of focus for Nova Scotians. There are a few main points that I want to share with Nova Scotians about the financial statement audit of the province. This is the 19th year in a row that the government produced clean financial statements in accordance with accounting standards. This is a positive thing, so that when Nova Scotians look at these financial statements, they can take comfort in knowing that the numbers are fair. Likewise, many organizations, including the Nova Scotia Health Authority and the IWK, also produced financial statements that Nova Scotians can rely on as fair summaries of where the money was spent. So all of this is positive, and across government, nearly all organizations audited received clean audit opinions. Now, having said that, there are many things that came out of the financial audit work that I want to share with Nova Scotians because they are important considerations that people ought to pause on. I believe it is important to draw Nova Scotians' attention to this year's auditor's report on the province's financial statements. This was my 6th year issuing a clean audit opinion on the government's financial statements, but this was also the first time we added an additional paragraph in the standard auditor's report to draw attention to the accounting for costs related to cleaning up the province's contaminated sites. The accounting is correct. That is not a concern. However, I draw attention to this matter because I believe Nova Scotians should be aware that these costs could change in the future in a very significant way as the province conducts site assessments and obtains more information. It is not unusual nor odd that an organization can produce clean financial statements, yet still have areas to improve. We only highlight areas that came to our attention that need to be improved. This certainly doesn't mean that nothing is working well. We identified what we would call more significant weaknesses in the internal controls at both the Department of Service Nova Scotia and Internal Services and the Department of Lands and Forestry. I believe those departments need to take action to improve their overall control environments. For example, at Service Nova Scotia and Internal Services, we found weaknesses over how they purchased and paid for goods and services, at times without pre-approval. Also, we noted the department did not adequately monitor user access to the province's accounting systems. These issues put at risk the appropriateness of transactions and diminishes the ability of the province to achieve value for money when buying goods and services. At the Department of Lands and Forestry, we reported that they were not adequately assessing the extent of contamination at the province's abandoned mine sites. This increases the risk that potential contamination is not identified, managed, and accounted for appropriately, and it led my office to immediately begin a performance audit on the management of the province's contaminated sites. Further, we also noted significant control weaknesses existing at Housing Nova Scotia, IWK, Nova Scotia Gaming Corporation, and the Nova Scotia Health Authority. These weaknesses also need to be fixed so these organizations can improve how they manage and control their finances. As I stated earlier, it didn't keep these organizations from being able to produce clean financial statements and get clean audit opinions, nor does it mean that nothing is working correctly. Now, I would like to see Nova Scotians pick up the financial statements of the province of Nova Scotia and have a look at the financial information that the government reports. I advise people to read the notes to those financial statements to better understand how the accounting works. I also believe that the organizations that have things to fix should work to fix these issues quickly, to assure Nova Scotians that in addition to producing clean financial statements, they are appropriately managing and controlling funds. In conclusion, I believe the government and its organizations can be proud of producing clean financial statements, yet fully recognizing that there are in some cases serious things to fix to better control and manage the province's finances. On the attached slide, I have left Nova Scotians with some questions they may wish to ask as a result of this chapter. I think these questions are very relevant this year, partially because this is the first year since I have been Auditor General that I have reported significant control weaknesses in our audit of the province's financial statements. It's also the first time I have emphasized a particular matter in the auditor's report, that being the government's accounting for contaminated sites. Likewise, I pose the questions because I think there are too many government organizations with significant control weaknesses. I hope these questions will help Nova Scotians as they think of things they may wish to ask government and its organizations.